everybody. So that was fun having my friend Sarah. She really enjoyed having some time to talk to you guys and to share some of her knowledge. So I hope you guys have remembered all those tricks that she told us. Keeping those hands really clean before we put on our masks, cleaning our hands again before we take off our masks, and putting our disposable ones in the bin. And then those ones that we bring, the non-disposable ones, that we're the reusable ones, to bring a plastic bag to put them in so that we don't spread all our germs around. So, it's a bit of a gloomy old day. So I thought, why not read a little bit of the one and only Ivan? So here we go. Most of the days I doze. Late in the afternoon, Mac approaches. Bob slips under not tag. He prefers to keep a low profile around Mac. Mac's gaze falls on my pool. A corner of one of my paintings is visible.
"What's that, big guy?"
he asks. I calmly eat an orange, ignoring him, but my heart is racing. Mac kicks at my plastic pool. Underneath it are all the paintings. Mac yanks at the piece of paper and it slips out easily, and he doesn't seem to notice the other paintings. The page is striped with green, which is what happens when blue paint and yellow paint get together. It's supposed to be a patch of grass, but I don't think he understands.
Not bad. Where'd you get the paint anyway? Did George's kid give it to you?"
He considers.
I'll bet I can get 30 for this picture, maybe even 40.
Mac turns on my TV and it's a western. There's a human with a really big hat on and a really small gun. I can never work out why these cowboys have big hats and really small guns. But he has a shiny star pinned to his chest, and that means he's a sheriff and he'll be getting rid of all the bad guys.
"If this sells quick, I'm just getting you some more of that paint, buddy,"
Mac says. He walks away with my painting. That was Ruby's painting. And for a moment I imagine what it would feel like to be the sheriff and try and get the painting back.
"Good news, huh?"
Bob says when Mac's out of earshot.
"Looks like you might be getting some more supplies."
But I don't want to paint for Mac, I say. I'm painting for Ruby.
"You can do both. You're an artist after all,"
Bob says. While I watch the movie, I try to come up with a new hiding place for my paintings. Maybe, I think, I could fold them once they're dry and stuff them into knot tag. It's a long movie. At the end, the sheriff marries the woman who owns the saloon, which is a watering hole for humans, but not for horses. It's quite strange. It's not a big hole. They seem to drink stuff out of small glasses. It's been a long time since I've seen a western that was also a romance where they lick their faces.
"Oh, I like that movie."
Bob says.
"Too many horses and not enough dogs, though."
And then an ad comes on. I don't understand ads. They're not like westerns where you know who the bad guy is supposed to be, and they're hardly ever romantic unless a man and the woman are brushing their teeth before they lick their faces. I watch an ad for an underarm deodorant.
"How do you know who's who if they don't smell?"
says Bob.
"Ugh, humans stink. They just don't notice because they haven't got noses like dogs do, I suppose."
Another ad comes on and I see children and their parents buying tickets, just like the tickets Mac sells. They laugh, enjoying their ice cream cones as they walk down a path. They pause to watch two sleepy-eyed cats, huge and striped, dozing on long grass. Tigers. I know because I saw them on a nature show once. Words flash on the screen, accompanied by a drawing of a red giraffe. The giraffe vanishes and I see a human family staring at another kind of family. Elephants, old and young. They're surrounded by rocks and trees and grass, and they actually have room to wander. It's a wild cage. It's a zoo. I see where it begins and where it ends. The walls that says you are this and we are that, and that is how it will always be. It's not a perfect place. Even in just a few fleeting seconds on my TV screen, I can see that. A perfect place, in my opinion, would not have walls. But this is the place I actually need. I gaze at the elephants and then I look over at Ruby, small and alone. Before the ad ends, I try to remember every last detail of what I've seen. The rocks, the trees, the tails, the trunks. It's the picture that I know I need to paint. It's different now when I paint. I'm not painting what I see in front of me, a banana or an apple. I'm painting what I actually see in my head. Things that don't actually exist, at least not yet, because when I paint them, then they will exist. I pull out knock tag stuffing. Carefully, I fill her with my paintings, hiding them so Mac won't sell them. She's large, bigger than Bob, but I still have to crumple a few of them. Bob tries to settle on her for a nap.
You've killed her,
He complains.
She's all bumpy.
Well, I had to, I say.
Oh, I wish I could lie on your stomach. It's so lovely and big and bouncy,
Bob admits. When Julia arrives, she notices that I've used up my paints and paper. Wow, you are one serious artist, Ivan. My finger painting has sold for $40 with a frame, and Mac is happy, and he brings me a huge pile of poster board and big buckets of paint.
Get to work,
He says. I paint for Mac during the day and for Ruby at night, and I nap when I can. But my nighttime picture isn't quite right. It's big, that's for sure. When I place all the pieces on the floor of my cage side by side, the cement is almost completely covered. But something is still missing. Bob says I'm crazy.
There's Ruby,
He says, pointing with his nose.
There's the zoo. There are other elephants. What's wrong with it?
Oh, I don't know, but I think it needs something more. Bob groans.
You're being a temperamental artist. What else could be missing?
I stare at the huge expanse of colours and shapes. I just don't know how to explain to Bob that it isn't finished yet. I'll just have to wait. Something will come to me, and then I'll know my painting is finally ready. During the last show of the day, Ruby seems really tired. When she stumbles, Mac reaches for that claw stick. I tense, waiting for her to strike back with her long trunk. Ruby doesn't even flinch. She just keeps plodding along, and after a while lets Snickers jump up onto her back. I lie in my cage with Bob on my tummy. We are watching Julia do her homework. She doesn't seem to be enjoying it. I can tell because she's sighing more than usual. Probably what you guys do when you're on Zoom. Again, for the 100th time, or maybe the 1000th, I wonder what is missing from my painting. And for the 100th time, or maybe the 1000th, I don't have the answer. Dad, Julia says as George passes by with a mop, can I ask you a question?
May I ask a question?
George corrects. Julia glances down at a piece of lined paper. What's the difference between the word spelled Principal and the one spelled Principle?
Well, the first one is the head of a school, like Miss Garcia. The second one is a belief that helps you know what's exactly right or wrong. For example, it's against my principles to do my daughter's homework for her.
Well, if I'm going to be an artist when I grow up, why do I need to know how to spell? With a laugh, George just heads off. Poor Julia, I think. Gorillas get by just fine without learning how to spell. All those endless letters, those sticks and circles and zigzags filling up books and magazines and billboards and even candy wrappers. Words. Man, humans love their words. I leap up and Bob goes flying straight into my pool. Oops. A word!
You know how I feel about wet feet,
Bob yells.
He scrambles out of the water, shaking each foot in dismay. I look out my window at the billboard and I can still hear Mac's voice in my head. Come to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home to the one and only Ivan, mighty Silverback. I count to 12 and then I count again to be sure. Come to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan, mighty Silverback. I lay out 16 pieces of poster board, 4 down and 4 across, and guess what? It's a perfect square. What are you up to? I'm guessing it doesn't involve sleep, Bob says. No, it has to do with the billboard. Ugh, that sign's a monstrosity, particularly because they didn't even bother to put me on it. I grab my bucket of red paint. You're not on the billboard because you're not in the show, I point out. Technically, I don't even live here, Bob says with a sniff. I'm homeless by choice. I know, I'm just saying, you'd be on the billboard if you were in the show. I study the billboard, then I make 2 fat lines like broom handles. Another fat line connects them. I stand back. What do you think? What is it? No, wait, let me guess. I think it's a ladder. It's not a ladder, it's a letter. Well, I think that's what they're called. And I have to make 3 more. Bob cuddles up to Not Tag. Why? He asks, yawning. Because then I'll have a word, a very important word. I dip my fingers into the paint. What word? Bob asks. I want to write the word home. Bob closes his eyes. That's not so important, he says quietly. This, I think, is going to be our home. I wonder what our Ivan is up to. Why do you think he wants to write the word home on this wonderful painting that he's doing? Well, my little Zoomers, we've still got a little bit to go. See if we can make sure that we've got it all the way to the end of our lockdown. All right, my lovely people, thanks for all you're doing. I look forward to seeing what magic you come up with tomorrow. We've got another guest tomorrow who's coming for Te Wiki or Te Reo Māori at 9 o'clock, which will be fun. And then it's mystery guest, and I wonder who I've got to come tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So until then, my lovely people, sleep tight, snuggle up, and I'll see you tomorrow.